Princess Isabel had never seen so many yellow cars. Back home, the only acceptable car for royalty was a sleek black town car. Here in New York City, yellow taxis ruled the roads like a swarm of bumblebees.
Isabel smiled, pushing her sunglasses further up her nose. She wasn't in Genovia anymore. Leaving her castle and her old life behind had been a difficult decision. Duty whispered in her ear, reminding her of her responsibilities. But Isabel longed for something more than royal balls and diplomatic dinners. She yearned for excitement, for a chance to express her creativity. New York City, the city that never sleeps, called to her adventurous spirit.
So with a deep breath and a heart full of hope, she had boarded a plane, leaving behind the only world she'd ever known. Now, as she looked out at the bustling streets of Manhattan, a thrill shot through her. This was her chance to be just Isabel, a girl ready to chase her dreams. No titles, no expectations, just a blank canvas and the promise of a new adventure.
The fashion magazine office buzzed with frenetic energy. Phones trilled, keyboards clattered, and editors barked orders. Isabel tried to navigate the chaos with grace, but it was a far cry from the calm elegance of the palace. She had landed an internship at Style Weekly, hoping to learn the ins and outs of the industry.
So far, my tasks had been less than glamorous. I fetched coffee for demanding editors, organized overflowing racks of clothing, and even hand-delivered a designer shoe to a socialite's poodle. But I tackled each task with a smile. I was determined to prove myself, even if it meant dealing with diva designers and temperamental models.
She quickly learned that the world of NYC fashion was nothing like the fairy tale gowns of her childhood. Here, it was all about bold statements, cutting-edge trends, and the constant pressure to be ahead of the curve. Isabel, with her classic sense of style and her love of vintage finds, felt a million miles away from the sleek sophistication of the fashion editors. Yet she couldn't help but be swept up in the whirlwind of creativity and ambition that surrounded her. When she wasn't drowning in fabric samples and press releases, Isabel made sure to explore her new city. She wandered through vintage shops in the East Village, marveling at the treasures from bygone eras. She sipped iced lattes in cozy cafes, observing the eclectic mix of people that made up the city's vibrant tapestry.
One sunny afternoon, I found myself at a rooftop party in Brooklyn. The music pulsed, the crowd swayed, and the view of the Manhattan skyline took my breath away. I chatted with aspiring artists and musicians, sharing stories and dreams under the twinkling city lights. For the first time since arriving in New York, I felt truly free.
Isabel loved how fashion in the city wasn't confined to the glossy pages of magazines. It was a living, breathing entity on the streets. She embraced the mix-and-match aesthetic, pairing her favorite vintage finds with modern pieces. One day she might rock a vintage band tee with a sleek blazer and skinny jeans. The next, she might don a floral maxi dress with chunky combat boots. Isabel was finding her own unique style, a fusion of her royal elegance and the city's edgy energy. The invitation had arrived by courier, addressed simply to Miss Isabel. It was a coveted invitation to the Diamond Ball, the most exclusive event of the social season. Intrigued, Isabel decided to attend. She found the perfect mask, a shimmering silver creation that hid her features but couldn't disguise her natural grace. The ballroom glittered with diamonds and designer gowns. Isabel, in a sleek black slip dress and her grandmother's pearl necklace, felt a pang of nostalgia for the grandeur of her former life. She moved through the crowd with ease, enjoying the champagne and the witty banter of the city's elite.
Isabel, is that you? A tall, distinguished gentleman with a monocle stood before her, his eyes wide with recognition. It was Lord Frederick, her father's ambassador to the United Nations, and a frequent visitor to the palace.
Isabel's heart skipped a beat. She couldn't let him expose her secret. Thinking quickly, Isabel placed a gloved hand on Lord Frederick's arm, feigning surprise.
Oh, my dear sir, you must be mistaken. I am but a humble fashion assistant, far removed from the world of princesses and palaces.
Lord Frederick squinted at her, his brow furrowed in confusion.
But the resemblance is uncanny. You have the eyes of... He trailed off, shaking his head as if to clear it. Forgive an old man's failing memory. I must say you bear a striking resemblance to a certain European princess I once knew.
Isabel laughed lightly, relieved that her quick thinking had saved the day.
I'm often told I have a classic look, she said, batting her eyelashes playfully. Perhaps that is what you are remembering.
With a final smile and a polite nod, she excused herself and melted into the crowd, her heart pounding in her chest. The encounter left her shaken but also exhilarated. She had managed to protect her secret, but it was a close call. The incident served as a reminder that she couldn't let her guard down, not even for a moment. Living a double life was a delicate dance, a constant balancing act between her two worlds. As the city lights twinkled outside her window, Isabel reflected on her journey so far. New York City had tested her in ways she never imagined. It had pushed her out of her comfort zone, forcing her to confront her fears and embrace the unknown. She missed her family, the familiar comforts of her old life, but she knew she had found something special in the heart of the city that never sleeps.
She was no longer just Princess Isabel of Genovia. She was Isabel, the aspiring fashionista, the vintage enthusiast, the girl who could navigate the subway system and hail a cab with the confidence of a true New Yorker. She was a work in progress, a masterpiece in the making.
And as she drifted off to sleep, the city's symphony of sirens and street noise lulling her into a peaceful slumber, she couldn't help but smile. She had a feeling that her New York adventure was just beginning. There would be challenges, of course, but Isabel was ready to face them head-on, armed with her quick wit, her impeccable style, and a heart full of dreams. The city held endless possibilities, and she was determined to explore them all, one stylish step at a time.